Good evening, and welcome to Hanging with the Walkers. Here with my host and co-host, Rogers Walker. Hello, 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 and welcome to another segment of Hanging with the Walkers. Thank you so much for tapping in on tonight. We appreciate you being with us and being in the midst on tonight. We thank you as you begin to like and share and invite someone to come in and hang out with us again on this beautiful Monday night. Hope you are safe and hope you are well. And we just have a topic that I wanted to deal with on tonight. There was a message that was shared um, during a service, and there was a topic that was dropped. And the topic was what love used to be. And I know when you hear that or think about it, your mind automatically goes to something negative. But can we just deal with that on tonight? What love used to be. We know how it is, we know how we picture it, we know how we have it in our minds. We know when we say, I love you or I am in love with you, then we mean that from our heart. But can we talk about what love used to be? And when you hear the word use or used to be, the phrase, then that lets you know that something changed. And I looked in Oxford for the word love, and it says an intense feeling of deep affection. And it says that love is a verb, a deep affection for someone. So if we really truly have love, and Oxford is saying that it is a deep affection, when you say that it's deep, that means that it's rooted, that is there, it's not easily uprooted, it's not easily changed if it's deep. And it says the exact meaning of love, or quality of feeling, or strong or constant. In other words, it's continuous, it doesn't stop. A feeling of strong or constant affection for and dedication to another. So if we can go there, if we can think that, if we can say that that is truly what it is, then why would we have to use the phrase what love used to be? That means that it changed. That means that it's not what it used to be. That means that what you did have, that intense feeling or deep affection, is no longer there. And something changed. Something got lost in the transmission. Someone changed. Someone lost the deep affection. But from the beginning, I love you, you love me. I am in love with you, you are in love with me. So we use the phrase tonight, what love used to be. What changed? How did it change? Who changed? And do we play the blame game? Or was it never there from the beginning? Was it just fleshly love? Not necessarily agape love, but just fleshly love, actions or reactions brought about feelings and emotions, um, caught up in the moment. And then the word was shared, I love you, or I am in love with you. So now we're trying to figure out what love used to be. Because what I thought, what I was experiencing, what I was feeling, quote unquote, is not there anymore. And we get to a point in a relationship or friendship, what love used to be. Now, when I heard that message, automatically the mind went to another place. We can take it to church, of how much we used to love our ministry, how much we used to love our leaders, how much we used to love what it is that we do in church, um, how we love our family, and we are one, we're together, we're on one accord, we love being together, hanging out, and then all of a sudden, something changed, something happened. Was it that the treatment for you is not the same? Were you expecting something different? Did they not say or do what you thought would be continuous? Because remember, love is an intense feeling of deep affection for a friend, ministry, the things that we do. You hear it all the time. Oh, I love my job. So you have a deep, intense feeling of joy in doing what it is that you do because you, quote unquote, love your job. So when things change, things that the supervisor does or does not do, and you decide, I want to change, I don't want to be here anymore, I don't want to do this anymore, then you can say, I used to love my job. I used to want to show up there. I used to want to do what it is that I do. That's what love used to be when it came to my job. So what changed? Did you change? Did it change? Did someone change? Is it the direction that you thought it was going? It did not go in, and then something shifted. I wrote a book called His Wife, His Armor Bearer. It is available on Amazon and Kindle. It's also available at Kingdom Christian Bookstore. And in that book, it was my first novel. Um, Everything else was more or less like education, but this was my first novel. And it was sharing the story of a couple in ministry and the things that they go through, the emotions that they go through, the ups and downs, the lows and the highs. So imagine you'd have to be in a place in order to be able to accept the findings and the words of this book, His Wife, His Armor Bearer, because we understand that what it is that we do for our husbands or our mates, we do it out of love. So if we're doing it out of love and it changes, then we are able to speak a phrase, what love used to be. In part of the book, it starts to share about the vows. And I had the introductory of chapter 3 in the book, For Better or Worse. And it says the vows say for better or worse, those times when we pray for the better, it seems as if it's getting worse. Remember that phrase, what love used to be. We're there for better or worse. What do we do to make it better? What did we do to make it worse? Think about while we're here, think about what part we play in ministry. We can take it even to ministry. Because we love them, we try to meet their needs. That's doable with friends, with family, in our ministries, our friendships. Because we love our friend, we try to do what we can to balance, to make sure that it's going to work. And we still say, so what love used to be. And then we think about it, because we love them, we try to meet their needs. Sometimes we feel as if what we do is not good enough. If we're having insecurities, it leads us to think we are inadequate as we serve. It's true, we are human, and issues will arise. I've learned prayer will fix it. Just know that the blood still works, and you have to remind yourself constantly of this. Even in the midst of being a armor bearer, if you're serving your leader because you love them, and all of a sudden you don't feel what it is that you used to feel in your relationship with them, in your friendship with them, you start to feel as if I'm inadequate. And what I did do, what I used to do for them, has changed. Maybe it's not appreciated, maybe it's not shown enough. And we use the phrase, what love used to be. Oh, my pastor, my leader used to act like they love and appreciate me, or what I used to do for them. My friend that we're close, we're down like four flat tires, used to be appreciated. But for some reason, there is a feeling of withdrawal, that it's not working for our good. So, topic tonight is what love used to be. In the book that I wrote, His Wife, His Armor Bearer, I began to encourage by saying, know who you are in every capacity, whether it's friends, family, relationship, business, know who you are. Because sometimes we will have the tendency to want to depend on what others think, their feelings or emotions towards us, their rewards or pats on the back or words of encouragement. So you got to know who you are in every capacity, every relationship that you may tap into. Just know who you are. And regardless to what you are asked to do, still know who you are in Christ. Know who you are in your marriage. Know who you are in your friendship. Know who you are in your connections. And when it comes to ministry, know your place in ministry. Know what gifts you walk in. Know what it is that you bring to the table in your relationships, in your friendships, business partners. Know what you bring to the table, so that if there's ever an issue and you begin to feel inadequate, even if they don't show love, even if they don't show care or concern for what it is that you do or how you treat them, you still know who you are, and that you've given the best that you can give. What love used to be. Because I know somewhere, somehow, someone is thinking to themselves, you know what? My friendship is not as close as it used to be. We don't get along like we used to. We don't call one another like we used to. We don't hang out like we used to be. What love used to be in the midst of us, in our marriages, in our ministry. But can you pray through the worst situations until it get better? Maybe it's you that's feeling inadequate. Maybe it's you that is feeling unloved, unwanted, undesired. And I'm telling you, as this woman of God, this powerhouse was preaching this message, what love used to be, then it just crossed every border, even in the job, even in the family. what love used to be, how we used to get along, how we used to share, how we used to do this, how we could come together as a family unit, different families coming together in one place. But then all of a sudden, that love changed, that love shifted. Remember, the dictionary says it's an intense feeling of affection. It says a deep affection for someone. And again, I say if it's deep, how could it warrant? How could it disappear? How could it not be what it used to be? How could it shift? And I say it, but in all actuality, it's us. If you're married, ask yourself, what did you think about on your wedding day when you heard the words for better or worse? Did you start to think what may happen? Did you begin to think about positive things that would make the marriage work? Is there a better or more grace when it comes to making your marriage work, making your friendship, your business? Is there a grace that will cause us to be covered and not be concerned if things change? And we're reminded all through our growth that it takes two to make things work. Because if you're doing all the giving and they're doing all the receiving, how is that balance? If one person is trying to make the friendship work, the marriage work, the ministry work, the business work, then you know that it's going to be an issue. And again, I ask boldly, can you pray through the worst situations until they get better? Or do you already have the mindset, have God's hand tied, and say, you know what? It doesn't matter. However I pray, whatever I do, I know it's not going to work. So I've already given up from the beginning. I have not even began to fight. I just say that that's not going to work. And even if it appears to be getting worse, can you believe God for change in the relationship, in the friendship, in the business, in the marriage, in the ministry? Can you just begin to seek God for change, for it to get better? Because to feel as if everything that I do is not enough in your relationship, in your friendship, in your marriage, in your position on your job, or even your position in your church, that everything I do is still not enough. And you begin to say, you know what? Well, that's how it used to be when I started here. That's what love used to be in what it is that I'm doing. But can even in the midst of that, can you begin to see through God's eyes that it is better? Not through your eyes, but his eyes. Because if you begin to look through your eyes, the battle is already lost. Topic tonight: what love used to be. And I know your mind is going everywhere, thinking to yourself, wow, I never really thought about it like that before. But what love used to be. And Pastor Roger gave us a message title, Are You in the Race? Now, anyone can connect the dots when it comes to hearing messages back to back. Sometimes we have a tendency to shift it and not really think that one can occur with the other. Because if we begin to think how love used to be, then what goals are we setting? How fast are we working toward trying to get it right? Like, are you really in a race to make it better, to strive to do better? Or are we just there? Are we just dwelling? Are we just existing? Are we just there to allow someone else to do it all and we do nothing? So, in the midst of thinking what love used to be, what did I lose? What did we lose? What did we let go of? Can you tap in and pray? In other words, the P says push until something happens, and the R says remain faithful until it comes to pass. And the A is accept what God will allow. And Y is yield to his will in every situation. Again, these were thoughts, moments, and issues in the book that I wrote, His Wife, His Armor Bearer. And I always remind you that when I write a book, it's not just about couples, it's about singles, it's about every area of your life that this message can reach, because it causes us to look at everything in a different light. Can we really begin to pray when we say, you know what? She used to do this for me. He used to do that for me. They used to do this. They used to do that. We can say, you know what love used to be. My kids used to treat me like this. My friend, my sister, my brother used to say this. They used to do this. This is what we used to do. And then they don't love me like they used to. But what changed? And how do you get it back? Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're in a race. And he said boldly, are you in a race? Are you in the race? Are you really are we really running toward the same thing? Are we really headed in the same direction with the same goal in mind? Because sometimes you could be running for your life and you are running in the wrong direction with the wrong person on the wrong road. And by the time you realize it, it's already too late. So what do you do? But what do you do? How do you help someone that after years or even recent have tried to say that, you know what, I know that we're heading in the right direction. I know we are, everything about us, our business is heading in the right direction. Our plans are headed in the right direction. We're in the same race. We're on the same page. We're doing the same thing. We have the same mindset, the same thoughts. But when you get ready to get in the turn or get in the shift, we realize that we're headed in two different directions. What love used to be tonight. And feel free to call in and share. It was just something that after this last weekend, it just brought the mind to a screeching halt. I'm headed in the right direction. I'm in the race to become healthier. I'm in the race to become more knowledgeable about what I do, who I am, my surroundings, what it is that I want in life. And then you realize that's not really where I was going. The things that I was doing, that's not really what I was doing. That's not the direction that I was headed in. And imagine your thoughts, and imagine your place, imagine your heart when you get to that place and you think to yourself, we're not in the same race. We're not on the same page. We're not doing the same thing. As a matter of fact, I just been blind to the fact we're friends. We are looking out for one another. I'm doing everything for her, doing everything for him. But then all of a sudden, when there's a challenge, when there's a shift, when there's something else that's going on, you're nowhere to be found. Nothing that I've done for you are you able to do for me. Nothing that I've said to encourage you, you're not there to encourage me. What love used to be. And how do you get back in the race to be able to head in the right direction? How do you pick yourself up and allow yourself to to not beat yourself up and feel like, you know what, it was my fault all the time. I use that example in the book about being a helper or assistant or a armor bearer to someone, serving someone. And I said, however you may refer to yourself when in service as an assistant, helper, or armor bearer, it's important to understand the importance of your role. Like, do you know your role in your friendship, in your relationship, business wise, ministry, armor bearer, husband, wife? Do you really know your role? Not what mom and them used to consider as a wife or a husband, or your mom's friend, your dad's friend, how they used to treat one another, because that's a whole nother generation. And I just reminded us to not volunteer for the wrong reason or the wrong motive, because sometimes we can get ourselves into things volunteering to help someone. We had no idea, no clue. But because they say they needed help, we jumped in with both feet. But what race are you really in? Where are you really headed? Where did you really hope to go when you said yes? Because don't forget, your yes will cost you. And in ministry, that can be detrimental to a leader or ministry by walking in error in this role as a servant. As you serve, remember, we are to remain positive, appreciate the importance of the calling to serve God or serve your leader, or I hate to say it like that because some people get offended, to serve your husband or to serve your wife. We have to know that that is like a calling, because if we think of it any way, the mind will shift and you start to feel like you're being a servant and you're waiting on them hand and foot. But you're called to serve. So it's a calling. So you can't take that lightly. And I think sometimes when we volunteer in different things, that's what we do. We have expectations, because remember, we feel like we're headed in the right direction. We're headed in the same direction. I have the mind or the goal or the idea of the ministry, the friendship, the relationship. I, I know what is expected. So I think from the beginning. So in serving, negative attitudes, misunderstandings cannot be tolerated. Negative attitudes. Oh, I don't like that. Why you did that? Or why you said that? Or why you did it like that? Negative attitudes. Remember, we have a servant's heart. So we're there to help. So we're not there to, oh, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you did that. Negative attitudes and misunderstandings. Well, you should have did it like this. Well, I know that's the way you want it, but that doesn't make any sense. So let's do it like this. Misunderstanding that can't be tolerated in the midst of serving, because we're serving Christ. I say it like that. So you're not going to tell God, we can't do it that way. But that don't make no sense. So that's confusing there. Why are you going to do that? Katina asked the question, is there a difference in serving in ministry versus in the home? Question. Is there a difference in serving in ministry versus in the home?
Serving is serving. There's not a difference. If you can't serve at home, you can't serve in the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people tend to be serving in ministry, but they don't serve at home.
Did that answer your question? See, we try to...
Because ministry starts at the house.
Ministry starts at home. We try to differentiate. That's why I said when Pastor Roger preached a message, are you in the race? Are we really headed in the same direction for the same thing, for the same goal? And when you get halfway down the road, you got to ask yourself, what race are you really in? What really was your goal? What were you really trying to accomplish? Where were you really trying to get to? Where did we start out this way and you jump ship and went another way? Are you really truly in this race to get better, to grow better, to be forever growing? Are we really in that, or are we just, what did he say? Sometimes we're just moving too slow to get to where it is that we need to be. So, in the midst of shuffling our feet, we lose the mindset, we lose the idea, we lose the direction, we lose the enthusiasm, we lose the love, we lose the trust, we lose the desire because we're moving too slow.
No, that too, Pastor. We change, period.
We change.
Because people don't like to change because we're creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
And so we move so slow because we don't want to change. We don't want to embrace it.
Wow.
Because we're familiar with what makes us comfortable. Because the flesh want to be comfortable. The flesh don't want any kind of challenge. The flesh don't want any kind of change.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it, we'll drive the same route back and forth to work.
Right.
We go to our favorite grocery store. We'll put our purse, our wallet, our keys in that same little cup bowl. We'll put our phones up in a certain area. We do certain things.
Yeah.
Because we're creatures of habit. If anything changes in between that routine,
wow,
we get off course. We get off balance.
Wow.
And this is how the enemy continue to track us and oversee us in things because we don't like change and we don't want to change. So we'll stick with it. We'll stay in a relationship for 40, 50 years because we don't want change. No matter how bad it is. We'll stay right there. We'll stay on a job no matter how bad they treat us.
And that's even worse.
But the sad part about it, as soon as you say something to me in the church, I'm gone.
That's it.
That's the only area we change in.
So you asked the question about serving in ministry versus in the home. And because you asked that question, there's someone else that's out there that's thinking to themselves, I could truly act a certain way, treat you a certain way at home, but in the ministry, it holds a different standard. And it's not picking, it's not negative, it's just what we know that we've done for so long, that we have treated situations, we have treated our opinions, we have treated our husband, wife, family different between home and the ministry. Because if you are married to someone that's in leadership, you'll treat them different at home as far as respect is concerned. But when you get in the house of God, you treat them with the utmost of respect. But when you get home, you may say or do anything and think that it is acceptable. I'm just saying, you may not be doing that, but somebody else may be doing that. Good afternoon. You're calling in to Hanging with the Walkers. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Christina.
Good evening. How are you?
Pastor Walker. How y'all doing? I'm doing fine.
We're doing wonderful.
I'm hanging in there. Doing well. That was the question. That's why I asked that question, because sometimes, even when I talk to my friends, they were like, well, you should be able to separate ministry from your home. And I'm like, how can you separate the two? If God is in you, He's in you, whether you're at home, church, or in school. There's a separation from the church and the world. Am I right or wrong? So if you're gonna live saved, you're gonna live saved no matter where you go, and you're gonna treat people the way God has intended you to treat them, as in whether you're serving them, you're gonna serve them in love, and not have a motive of why you're serving or why you're doing things for people. Am I off track?
When you look at 1 Peter 4:10-11, it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. As faithful stewards of God's grace, it is various form, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. Let's understand this sense. Serving is a form of worship. It's a way to express gratitude for what Jesus had done for us. So it's in the house and outside of the house. And a lot of us try to separate it. And this is why the house is jacked up now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we try to separate it. Imagine you're married, right? You got a husband. Let's say you got a husband, hypothetically speaking. You got a husband. Okay. You're the pastor of the church. And your husband just with you, not any kind of title. You're serving at that church. You're doing all you can. But when you get home, you won't even fix his plate. You won't even cook. You won't even wash his clothes. How long do you think that's going to last?
Mm-hmm.
So how can God get the grace and get the glory, but you're serving in the house of God, but you're not serving in your own house? Ministry starts at home. And so that's what people fall short at.
We need to serve at home first before we serve in ministry.
Exactly. How can you serve at home? How can you serve in the ministry and you're not serving at home?
Hmm.
It's like being a hypocrite.
You are a hypocrite.
I'm showing that I love my husband at home. I mean, at church, when I get home, we fight them, cussing them out, and all kind of things to them.
Mm-hmm.
Behind closed doors. And a lot of that goes on today. We can't have one without the other.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Our topic today, if you just joined us, is what love used to be. How it used to be. You know, we like to reminisce. Oh, remember when we were growing up? This is how it used to be, and this is how they used to treat me. And remember when we were in church together, and our pastor did this and pastor did that. What love used to be in our relationships. I remember you used to open doors, and you used to hold me this way, and you used to do this, and you used to talk to me like that. What love used to be. But what changed? How did it change? Remember the word love, it says an intense feeling of deep affection. What changed? What shifted? What direction did you go? Where did you take it? Where did your mind go? And I wrote in this book, we started out vows before God and man. It doesn't mean you don't get weary in your well doing. It doesn't mean we won't feel like giving up or throwing in the towel. It doesn't mean you won't feel like quitting. It doesn't mean you won't think about giving up on your assignment. But I wrote this with intention, and it says, you can't have me and not speak to me. How can you hold me but will hold against me what I said to you? You can't promise to have and hold, but will withdraw at the very unction of the truth that I share with you. The strongest medicine for healing is knowing you have me and will hold me regardless in any situation. What love used to be. So if there was a time to be comforted or cared for or concerned, then what changed? What shifted? What love used to be? How did it not continue with care and concern? You were my friend from the end. We were friends from the womb. And we became sisters. We became brothers. What changed in our love and friendship to where I would go to the end of the road for you and you would do the same for me? But then all of a sudden I got married. You moved. We have distance in between us. The direction changed. But the love for one another should not have changed. We may have changed planes, changed states, changed jobs. We may not be working together, but what changed to where we lost what we had? Yeah, we may not talk every day like we used to. But the love should not have changed because our situation changed. We're so easy to, if we become distant, not only do we become distant, but our feeling, our emotions, our connections for one another began to drift apart. And I like that message. Are you in the race? Are we really truly headed in the same direction? Did we from the beginning really think that we had the same goal in mind? Did we really start out that way, or were we thinking two different things? That's why it's so easy to say that I can show this kind of respect at home, but when I get in front of someone else, it's going to be something else totally different. I've never been the kind of person that likes someone with smart remarks, or snip little digs and little stabs and daggers. I've never really appreciated that, because sometimes in the comments there is some truth to what they're saying. There are some emotions that are being voiced that you knew not of. Remember, we were headed in the same direction as friends, as family, as partners, as friendship together. We were headed in the same direction. But because there was a change in the affection, it's so easy to be sarcastic. It's so easy to pull a rug from under someone. It's so easy to throw you under the bus, because it's what love used to be. Because if I truly still loved and respected you, there's no way these little digs and smart remarks and little daggers would be thrown, because my love didn't change for you. My respect didn't change for you. I'm still the same. I didn't shift. We're not going in two different directions. We're going in the same direction. Me build you up and you build me up. So where did the sarcasm come from? Where did the hurt, pain, and nasty little things that you'll say? Little daggers, little digs.
So how's that serving? You know what I mean?
That's it. If I'm tearing you down.
We're going back to service there. Okay.
Yes.
I only show service inside the church. So when I get around my friends, I talk to them like a dog.
That's it.
Then you're going to say, well, I thought you were saved.
That's it.
So but now you want us to bring it together. But to be in that area there as serving, we as Christians, how is the ones that are not in church going to see the love of God?
That's it.
If we're not serving them? Because we are some of the only people that those individuals might see us as God, might hear from God. And how's that going to paint a picture with how our God truly loves?
That's it.
So we have to serve inside of the building and outside of the building. We have to have a certitude of have an attitude of servitude. If we don't have that right there, then they're going to point out, oh, I thought you were saved. Or don't you go to church? I thought you were the pastor. I thought you were a minister, but you want me to separate my servitude. So I'm going to leave my servitude aside the church and be like you out here. How will that pan out? How will that work out?
Because it's so easy to shift. It's so easy to be headed in the wrong direction. And you often hear me say about this movie, The Mean Girls. There's always going to be someone that's popular, and there's always going to be someone that's unpopular. But in all actuality, this young lady moved from Africa with her parents, and she wanted to be a part of this group. And she actually thought they were headed in the same direction, until she began to realize how they treated other people, because they were not with them. They were not one of them. They were not in the same race, in the same direction, headed in the right direction. These girls were for you looking up to them, and them being the cool girls. In all actuality, they were tagged as the mean girls, because they would do little nasty, sarcastic things to those that they thought that were not their equal. I know you know somebody like that. I know you've seen that in your school, college, ministry, friendship. I know you've seen it. And then you say to yourself, what love used to be. I thought you liked me. I thought we got along together. I thought we were friends. I thought we were there together. But we're headed in two different directions. So I say to you tonight, check your circle, check your surroundings, check your emotions to see if we're really in the same race, headed for the same thing. The topic and subject that they were dealing with was crown of righteousness. But I took it personal, because everything is a teaching moment to me. Are we really headed towards something that is great, that is final, that is positive, that will build you up, that will encourage you? Are we really all headed toward the same thing in the same circle, or is it a clique?
Yeah, like I say in Galatians, you know what I mean? As brothers and sisters, we are called to be free, but we do not use our freedom to indulge the flesh, but
That's
what? Rather to serve one another humbly in love.
Mhm.
So we're always serving. Even we having a conversation with someone,
Oh my
we're
goodness.
serving.
Yep.
I mean, just by our mere conversation, we are serving. Because why? Of our gentleness, of our compassion and passion, and our love, and our listening ability to individuals.
Mhm.
We're serving.
Mhm.
Serving just not by you putting a plate on a table or sweeping the floor. Serving is by your connection with the individual, of you truly allowing the Spirit to lead you and guide you for the example of them individuals being helped in whatever they need to be.
That's it. That's it. We love to serve our pastor and our leaders. We do everything we can for them. And then, as you say, separating home and ministry. Somebody say, "Can you fix my plate, girl?" You better try to get up and fix your plate yourself. I ain't your slave. But you served the pastor. You brought them everything. You carried their Bible. You carried their suitcase, their briefcase, open the door. In some cases, they drive them around and pay the bills, do deposits. But your mom can ask you, "Can you get this for me? Mom, I'm tired. I can't do that."
Yeah. And when you look at Romans 12, you know what I mean? It's talking about renewing our mind by what? Transforming from the things of this world.
Yes.
Now, that means that we should not be conformed to the worldly ways of thinking,
Mhm.
but it does not mean we should not be involved in the worldly affairs.
That's it.
So we have to be in the worldly affairs because people need us.
Mhm.
We have to minister to them. We have to console them. We have to help them,
Mhm.
you know. And so we have to think different, but we got to operate the same.
That's it. Because don't forget, we're in the same race. We're headed for the same thing. We're here for an eternal goal, crown of righteousness. We're here to the end to be able to show God's love in everything that we do, and being humble as you serve speaks volume all by itself. Whether we're serving our friends, our family, in our friendships. You know, there are some people in your life right now. If you think about it, don't go back too far because you probably sign off the Facebook Live. But think about, there are some people in your life right now that you would do some things for that you wouldn't do for your family.
Let me read this to you real quick here.
Okay.
Sister Katina, it says that we are the light of the world, Matthew 5.
Mhm.
A town built on a hill could not be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it on a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house.
Mhm.
As the sun shines both on the church and on the rest of the world, so should our light shine in both directions.
Mhm.
We have a responsibility while we are on earth to spread not only the good news, but also the light that shines within us as children of God.
Yes.
So that means that we're serving not only in the church, but outside of the church.
That's
Your
it.
servitude never ends.
Mhm.
Never ends.
That's it. That's it. And it shouldn't. It really, really, truly. It shouldn't be what love used to be, what you used to be to me, how you used to treat me. If it's someone that we really love, someone that we really have a love for,
We have to shine everywhere.
we got to shine everywhere.
We got to let our existence outside of the church walls. We got to let it extend outside of the church walls, outside of our behavior, our work, our character, our good spirit. Why? Because we are the light.
That's it.
Let us shine well everywhere.
Everywhere. It doesn't matter how mad you make me. Listen, somebody biting their lip right now. Somebody biting their tongue right now. Like it doesn't matter how mad you make me. If I love you, and I think, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get in trouble with that. I think this is what happens in abusive relationships, because they think, I love them, they love me. I'm not gonna leave them because I know that they love me. So we have to be able to look inside that relationship and see what's really going on. Again, are we in the same race? Are we headed in the same direction? Do you really love me like I love you, or am I just there to serve you and it's not returned? It's not going both ways. It's just going one way. And you know, you can feel it. You understand and know when it's one-sided, when it's abusive, shall I say, when it's not something for our good. It's something about the flesh. It begins to warn you that okay, you're in trouble. And we like to talk about flags. Not only does it show red flags, it's throwing bombs, pitfalls, and everything else to let you know that that is an unhealthy balance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
What?
have a question. So
Uh-huh.
does that mean that we need to get the word slave out of when we're serving? Because I think when we say I'm not your slave,
Right.
meaning that I'm not gonna be here to always stick up behind you, do this and do that. I think if we get that word slave out of our vocabulary and out of our mental state when we are talking about serving, we wouldn't have the hiccups or the hangups that we have when it comes to serving people. Even though you can get up and get it yourself, it should be an honor to help someone because you never know when you may need the help. As the word say, do unto others as you will want them to do to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Character counts when no one is looking.
Mm-hmm.
So my question becomes, if we're in the same circle and my relationship becomes deeper with God and I'm no longer doing the things that we used to do, as you were saying, can you still love me as I'm changing and growing in my walk with Christ? Can you still love me with the growth?
Wow.
Or is that another topic?
That listen, that's deep all within itself because it shifts the mindset. I want to serve you. I want to help you. I want to humbly be there for you. My mind has changed. I'm forever growing. I'm growing in the things of God. So that means that what I used to wouldn't do, I'll do now because I have the love of Christ. And I want you to see, feel, and know that that's where the servitude is coming from because I'm humbly serving and I'm humbly submitting. And as you said, the flesh will raise up and begin to say to yourself, I'm not your slave. Why am I doing all of that for you? And then we'll retaliate and we'll say, because you don't want to do it for me, or you won't do it for me. So why you expect me to do it for you? And it doesn't matter how saved we are. At one point or another, when the flesh grows weary in giving, the mindset sometimes will settle there. Why am I doing all this for you when you probably would never do that for me? So you have to stay humble. You have to stay in your word. You have to stay constantly with the mind of Christ, pulling down every stronghold. Because if you don't, it's so easy to shift from where you are to a place that you don't want to be. Just like that. Just that simple. One incident, one occurrence, one statement, one wrong conversation can shift you to a place where the mind will say, the flesh will say, you know what? All you're doing is using me. You don't really care. You don't really love me. You're just doing it just because. And you're saying, I just want to be there for you. And then that flesh say, they just trying to use you. They don't care. They're not concerned. They just want you to be there because nobody else would do that. And it's so easy. So we have to stay praying. We have to stay in the word, stay in his will, so that when that thing tries to shift and convince you that, yeah, you think I'm your slave. But in all actuality, all you want to do is serve, humbly serve, to be a blessing to someone else, to show the love of Christ in that relationship, in that marriage, in that ministry, in that friendship. That's all I want to do. It's just share love and show love. The love of Christ, not the love of Barbara, not the love of Katina. I want to show the love of Christ. Does it make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes. You have something you want to share?
Right.
So that's my thought process on tonight. That what love used to be. When we get to a point to where we start to question where we are in this race called life, we're almost getting into trouble because now we're beginning to question our assignment. We're beginning to question the direction that we're headed in, because you do it for so long. You do it unconsciously. You help serve your there for those that are, it's automatic for some people. Then there are others that you have to beat them with a stick to make them want to serve. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. But there are others that it's just automatic. You just see someone that's in need. You want to help them. You want to encourage them. You want to say something positive. You want to say something to lift them up. Even in my daily journey, I could be in the grocery store. I could be in Walmart. I can be in Burlington. I'm a shopaholic. So I can be in those places and see somebody. And it's almost like you just want to say something positive to encourage them. Oh, listen, you wearing that dude, or I like that outfit, or boy, y'all look good together. You never know the mindset that a person may be in. So when you get that nudge to encourage, not be spiteful, not be negative, not say something that's derogatory, but to encourage, you never know. That person may need to hear that. They may need that word of encouragement. They may need that love. That's still called serving. I'm following the direction that God told me to go. This is not where I was going to go, but I'm headed that way now. So it's got to be somebody that needs to hear that, needs to feel that, needs to feel God's love. So think it not strange if we're headed in a direction and God says to shift and go there. Now, if you're connected, it'll be easy, so easy for you to shift. If you're not there yet, you're saying, shoot, that's too far. I ain't going way over there. I'm going right here. I ain't doing that. Listen, they could be on the other side of the church. I ain't going over there. I'll wait till they could leave out, and then I'll tell them. And then you miss God because you didn't tell them what God told you to tell them. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Welcome to the second part of our segment, where you're growing, forever growing, because you are forever growing. Let me share this quick topic with you very briefly. 5 emotional facts of life. 5 emotional facts of life. Life is difficult for many, many people. Some more than others. But there are 5 emotional facts of life that are true for all of us. The first one is life's hurt.
Yes.
The first is that life hurts, period. God never promised us a pain-free life. He promised that he would be there to heal us and to help us in every circumstance. But that still means we may experience difficulties like failure, sin, death of loved ones, abuse, rejection, and betrayal. These things cause us pain.
Yes.
The second one is emotional reality of life is that pain accumulates. Reality of life is that pain accumulates. Unless we deal with it properly when it occurs, our pain always falls into what I call our hurt pocket.
Yes.
That's where we put our pain. It is builds and it builds and it builds, and it begins as far back as childhood. Because very few of us know how to deal with emotional pain.
Yes.
Sometimes we hide our pain. Sometimes we deny it. We pretend we pretend it's not there.
So sure.
Or we may think that time will eventually heal our wounds. But that's not true. For some of us, pain actually gets worse over time.
Yes.
Our emotional wounds last until they are brought into the presence of the Lord. The third one is emotional fact of life is that accumulated pain and unresolved problems impact our health.
Yes.
Accumulated pain and unresolved problems impact our health. They are bad for us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and relationally. That's why we need to empty our hurt pocket on a regular basis. If we don't, the more pain that accumulates, the more it compromises us.
Wow.
The fourth one, emotional reality, is that everyone deals with pain. Everyone deals with pain. Some deal with it right away, and some the wrong way. But none of us can avoid pain. It has to be dealt with. Here's something you need to know. When it comes to addiction related to alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, and sex, the primary issue is never alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, and sex. The primary issue is pain.
Yes.
Alcoholics use alcohol to deal with their pain.
That's it.
Drug abusers are addicted to drugs, but they use drugs as a way to treat their pain.
Mm-hmm.
The devil wrapped fear and shame around our pain, so we'll keep it in the darkness. It hurts too much. We're ashamed of it, so we cover it in secrecy. That's how we deal with it. But is that the right way, or is that the wrong way? The fifth one is reality of our emotions is that the only way we can stop the hurt is to empty our hurt pocket.
Yes.
And the reality of our emotions is that the only way we can stop the hurt is to empty our hurt pocket.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that? By turning it towards God.
Yes.
When we turn our pain towards God, it is validated, understood, and healed. We bring it out of darkness into the light. Once we've done that, we have to ask him to heal us from our pain. A lot of times we just bring it out, but we don't ask for the healing. Healing requires us to be honest before God,
Right.
to open our heart towards him and trust him. We must realize, my brothers and sisters, there's nothing we've done that will make him reject us.
That's it. That's it.
I'm going to say that again. We must realize there's nothing we've done that will make him reject us.
That's it.
He understands our pain and sympathizes with it. Secondly, healing requires us to take responsibility for our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Healing requires us to take responsibility for our behavior. Life does not form us, but our response to life forms us. Say that again. Life does not form us, but our response to life
That's it.
forms us. We are not helpless victims, but disciples of Jesus Christ who give us strength. We always have a choice.
That's it.
And finally, healing requires mercy from God to us and from us to those who hurt us. Let me say that one more time. I think we missed that there
Yeah.
on the Wave channel.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, healing requires mercy from God to us and from us to those who have hurt us. See, the reason why we don't forgive people because we really haven't taken it to God.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that you have given God your hurt and your pain and you still got hatred towards the one that did it.
Wow.
The Bible says you're a liar and the truth is not in you. Healing requires mercy from God to us and then from us to those who have hurt us. As difficult as it can be, we must forgive ourselves as God forgive us. And here we go again. If you did not forgive that individual, you did not forgive yourself.
Wow.
The Bible said that how can you forgive your sins if you don't want to forgive your brother's sin?
That's it.
Jesus died for us, and we did not have to live with regret. Make it personal, Bob and I understand hurt also well. But God now uses our healing pain to help millions, to help thousands, to help hundreds of people.
Yes.
God can turn your greatest failure, my brother and my sister, in scars into his greatest glory.
Mm-hmm.
But you must, like a repeated broken record,
Yes,
but you must let him empty your hurt pocket in order for the scars to truly heal. This is the second part of our segment, 5 emotional facts of life. You're forever growing. And I pray that this has blessed you on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I pray that it has strengthened you on tonight. I pray that you have received your answer on tonight. Because not only can you serve inside the house and inside of God's house, you got to first get over your emotional scars and your emotional hurts in order to serve, in order to do anything in the house of God. there are too many people that are trying to serve in the house of God, and this is why they get snappy. This is why they got attitude, because they have not given it truly unto God.
Mm-hmm.
Be blessed.
Boy, that's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. If you empty your hurt pockets, you probably can be forever growing, because we're definitely holding on to some things in areas where we have been hurt. And we actually said that we let it go. But tonight, you understand and realize that you just put it in a pocket. And then let's just get personal. That's why I love Erica Badu's Bag Lady. Someone on tonight may have carried that hurt in your Dooney, in your Coach, in your Chanel, uh, in your designer purse. You have put that hurt in that pocket, in that pocketbook. But tonight, it's time to empty that hurt pocket so that you can heal. Just a reminder tonight, he gave us 5 points. Life hurts. Listen, understand that. And then the pain that you feel from the hurt accumulates. Accumulated pain and unresolved problems, he says, impact our life. And how many can witness to that? I guarantee you, if we were on a live tonight, everybody's hand would be up. Key word, accumulated. In other words, we hold on to it. We keep connecting it. I remember when I was 2 and I got a beating for something I didn't do. And I remember when I was 5, I got accused of taking that food and I didn't eat it. I remember when I was 10, I got shifted to somebody else's house. And I remember when I was 12, I was molested. And I remember when I turned 15, I was rejected by my boyfriend. We just accumulating the pain. We're accumulating the hurt. I remember when I was 21, I was rejected from my boyfriend and he left me for somebody else. We just keep accumulating the pain at different places in our life, and it becomes unresolved. And when it's unresolved, it impacts our life. Look at your life for a moment. Don't take it personal. Look at the decisions that you made. Look at where you chose to live, where you chose to go, the job you decided to do. Was it impacted by the pain that you accumulated over your life? Did you make that decision? You didn't really want to leave that job or that place, but you left it because of the hurt and the pain. And you thought you were moving on. But you put that hurt in your hurt pocket and took it right with you. And everybody deal with pain. You're not alone. You're not the first one to be rejected. You won't be the last. You're not the first one to be told no, and you won't be the last. But you got to learn how to empty that pocket on tonight, so that you can be free, so that you can grow, so you can be forever growing. Stop holding on to it. And then we'll be saying to ourselves what love used to be. Is it because you're holding on to a past hurt? Something that you thought was a reality. In all actuality, it really truly wasn't. Were you thinking that this is what it was, that we're headed in the same direction, that we're in the same race, headed toward the same goal? In all actuality, you wanted the friendship, you wanted the marriage, you wanted the business, you wanted to live there, you wanted that house. But did that other person that you were in the race of life with, did they ever show an interest or thought that this is what I want, that we're headed in the same direction? Check your surroundings, check your emotions, find out where you are, what it is that you want to do. Know you before you begin to try to know someone else. You know, we always, oh girl, I feel you and I know what's going on. But are you picking up your emotions and thinking that it's something that they're feeling, something that they're thinking? Are you really headed in the same direction? Are you really truly in the same race? Oh my God, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, it just took me to another headspace. And I pray that this segment on tonight helped you. I pray that it started you to look in a different direction when it comes to serving, when it comes to helping, when it becomes to knowing who you are, who they are, what it is we desire. We is a big word. Sometimes it's just you. It's not even them. Sometimes it's just you. So if there is a we, make sure there is a we for real. And when you get a chance, get the book. His wife, his armor bearer. It has some great nuggets. Um, Buy the CD. Download the CD. This love. Allow it to minister to you as you listen to the words in the song. It says to find a love like this. That's how the song starts. While you're at it, put your favorite drink inside the his wife, his armor bearer cup. And then just buy a candle. Just have some me time to realize who you are in order to his wife, his armor bearer candle. They all come in sets. All the books come in set. So thank you so much for the support over the years. Thank you for what you have done. I thank you for tapping in, tapping on, being a support, praying for us as we pray for you. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Oh wow! I'm telling you, I feel better. I hope you feel better because now we have some insight and some things that we got to think about and something that we have to do. We have to empty our hurt pocket on tonight. Take it out of that Fendi bag. Take it out of that Coach bag, that Telfar Clemens bag. Take it out of that Coach. Take it out of that Chanel bag. Take it out of that Gator bag. Take it out of that because that's where you're hiding it at. Because you know you only wear those certain times, so you hide things in there that you don't put in those Walmart bags.
Mhm.
Come on, somebody, take it out of there so that you begin to live, so that you can be forever growing. Any last comments or questions, Miss Tina?
No, ma'am. It was an awesome segment. I learned some things. And I know what I'm going to do when I got the line, but yeah. Any calm in some areas and answer some questions that I was talking to God about over the weekend. So it resonated tonight.
Amen. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to call and hang with the walkers on tonight. You are amazing. That's all I have to say. You are amazing. So to our audience, know that we love you and truly there's nothing you can do about it. Tap in on Tuesdays, 5:30 to 6 p.m. with our prayer birthing room with Apostle Lenny Roar, and stay connected at 6 p.m. for our community Bible study with our leader, Pastor Rogers Walker, as he takes us through the Word of God with a right now word from the Lord. Stay connected. Tap on to our YouTube page at Barbara Walker 6795, and make sure you click on the subscribe button so that when we go live, you won't miss hanging with the walkers. You won't miss a community Bible study. You'll already be connected. And just know that we appreciate you. Tap onto our Instagram page at TMAD_IMAD and follow us there. We always leave awesome nuggets on our Instagram page. So just stay in the race. Make sure you're headed in the right direction. And by all means, empty your hurt pocket. All right. Peace. Good night.